Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to another 3D Hangouts. My name is Noé Ruiz. I'm a designer here at Adafruit, and joining me every week is my brother Pedro.
Good morning, everybody. Pedro, Creative Tech here at Adafruit, and every week we're here to share 3D printed projects featuring electronics from Adafruit.
Yes, sir. That's right. This is the show where we combine 3D printing, electronics, smash them together to make inspirational projects. Hello, everybody hanging out in all the various places. It is Wednesday, April 1st, 2026, and this is episode 521. We're live streaming in all the usual places: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and X. Sorry, LinkedIn, I couldn't get you working for whatever reason. yeah.
They want your driver's license updated too.
They want my social. They want some blood. You know, I couldn't give them my blood in time. Anyway, welcome everybody to the show. Big shouts to everyone hanging out in the Adafruit Discord server. If you'd like to join us on the Adafruit Discord server, you go to the URL at the top purple bar there, discord.gg/Adafruit. Adafruit, whatever you'd like to call it. We're the fruit over here. So we're hanging out, and we have a new Learn Guide that went out last week that we'll recap. Pedro's made a lot of progress on his prop sensor project. So we're going to take a look at that. We have a community make that's really cool. And we also have a time-lapse video of a cool, useful print that's also stylish and very designery. If you go to adafruit.com/free, you can find out all the free deals that are going on this week. So if your order caps out at $199 or more, you'll get a free PCB coaster with a golden Adafruit logo. If your order is at $199 or more, you'll get that PCB coaster plus free UPS ground shipping for continuous USA only. Contiguous. And if you want to buy something today, you want to check out, please use our coupon code SENSORDATA. We'll get you 10% off your order. Good for the next 24 hours. So while you're at checkout, just type that in, SENSORDATA, into the coupon box, and you'll get 10% off your order. And this is good for the next 24 hours. Switching gears back over to Discord, we're going to say some shout outs to folks that are watching live. We got Duester hanging out. Hello. Jim Hendrickson. Hello and good morning. Happy Artemis 2 launch day. A lot of things going on today. It's April Fool's. It's Passover. There's a rocket launch happening later in the afternoon.
It's going to be hard to focus in on our meeting. I'll be out there watching.
Yeah.
So.
It's also
hopefully it's not cloudy. Hope
it's also Apple's birthday. Like, they're 50 years old now. I got the book. Oh yeah. I have the 50 years of Apple book from David Poe. I finished reading it like 2 days ago. Awesome book. Recommend it. Pedro, you're repping the Artemis shirt. Yeah. We don't have any pranks. We're very serious.
We haven't had one in a while.
Yeah. I think the internet is done with pranks. Like, we get enough stuff.
No.
Rocket is canceled again, says
no way.
Wolves.
Is it?
We need to focus.
Don't.
Yeah.
I need to check.
It might be. It's April Fool's, so anything that people say,
I know that's why I don't believe it.
Yeah.
This was posted an hour ago.
They're just like pulling it up right now.
No.
Just type in Google. Is the rocket launch canceled?
Countdown 3 minutes ago. Countdown.
Dead air. Dead air. It's probably.
I'm gonna assume.
That's a good prank. Good prank. Rolls. Canceled again. That's funny. Yeah, Jim Henderson has the link, so you can check it out.
After we left the Kennedy Space Center, the cars started.
Told you, you got us good. Thank you.
No, I mean, that's how it was last time. We were ready to go over there, and then it got canceled.
Yeah,
it was packed with everybody parking on the way there. Like, every single parking spot was filled up. All the schools are going there. We went there on the day the astronauts arrived. I didn't realize how big Kenny's, like, the visitors complex. We saw like 1%. anything. So we were like, all right, we need to get annual passes. So we'll be going back there a lot more.
Nice. All right. So just to recap, so you and your fam went to Space Kennedy Center. What day? Was it like Friday?
Yes, it was Friday.
Friday last week. Y'all got to meet an actual astronaut, which is amazing. You got to see a lot of the fun stuff.
It was so funny. He was the one that made NASA change rules where you can't have a spouse be on the same flight team because they like secretly got married right before the launch.
Love story, yeah. Wow,
how funny, huh?
That is funny. Okay. Yeah, so lots of fun things happening today. Again, April 1st. Happy Fool's Day, April Fool's Day, and all the other things. Yeah, so what should we talk about? Last week's guide?
Yeah, I think we can.
All right, shifting gears from being fools to some projects. So last week during the show, I gave folks a good demo and explained about the project that I worked on. I'm just trying to pull up my my camera here. So this is it. This is the the MIDI visualizer, the MIDI NeoPixel visualizer. It uses a excuse me, a Feather PropMaker RP2040 running Circuit Python code to turn it into a MIDI device. So it uses some 3D printed parts to make a frame that's inspired by the late billboard from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And this is my first time using these NeoPixel Pebble strands, which makes it really easy to create a custom NeoPixel arrangement or NeoPixel matrix. So you can create fun custom displays in whatever kind of format you want. So I have this fun idle mode running right now, where it's just kind of randomly fading some NeoPixels on and off just to kind of show it so I don't have to play it. But it's my first MIDI device where it's meant to be an add-on to MIDI controllers. So keyboards, drum pads, what have you. You can use this with your MIDI devices to make a fun light show or display for performing or playing back MIDI arrangements. So if we go on over to the Learn Guide, we can walk through it and kind of pull some things about it. I just published a video explaining all the features and a couple of fun demos. Shout out to Liz Clark, who was able to help me play some really nice arrangements on a little keyboard, but also her big Yamaha keyboard in the back here. She played some Chopin, which is really nice to see as a demo on the MIDI visualizer. So it's not too many parts. Honestly, it's just two main parts. It's the RP2040 PropMaker Feather, which has a bunch of add-ons. It's designed for doing really nice audio out. And it's really easy to connect NeoPixels to the screw block terminal. So this is the NeoPixel Pebble seed LED strands, which has 200 in this arrangement. And they're spaced apart 2 inches, which makes it really nice to create your own NeoPixel display or grid like I did. And then just some cables and stuff like that. Also, black LED acrylic really works really well in this project, because anytime you want to diffuse NeoPixel LEDs and retain that like saturated color, black LED is the way to go. I even show in the video how much of a difference it makes between a white PLA diffuser versus a black LED acrylic diffuser. It's just night and day, where the night is actually better than day. Yeah, and then next on the circuit diagram is very, very easy. It's just connecting 3 wires from the NeoPixel to the screw block terminal on the Feather PropMaker RP2040. Installing CircuitPython on the RP2040 PropMaker Feather is really easy. Get it in bootloader mode and drag and drop the UF2 file, where it will auto install and flash the firmware onto the board, and it shows up like a USB thumb drive. For the code, this was my first attempt of using Claude Code to assist me in coding. It was a really good experience. I have a little bit of ability to program in Python and specifically Circuit Python. So I actually started with some boilerplate code, which just initialized all the pins and all the libraries that I know I needed. And then from there, I worked with Claude to make a functional MIDI device where I have some really nice features here. So I'm initializing all the things I need, and then I have a couple of arrays. So I have note names, I have base colors. I wanted to have a nice palette of colors, so I was able to kind of, instead of painstakingly write out each color, I used Claude to kind of create a nice color palette of 24 colors that span across 2 different octaves. And using the chromatic scale, you have 12 notes in 1 octave. And because I'm referencing the layout in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, they have a light board where it's 12 it's 12 notes and then 6 octaves, so that makes that 6 by 12 arrangement. So I have a lot of comments in here that you can change the fade out speed of the NeoPixels when they fade out on note release. We have a couple functions here to map the NeoPixels to the matrix. The notes to the matrix. I have a boot sequence that is really helpful when you're testing out the NeoPixel strip. You want to be able to light up all of the NeoPixels to make sure that your strand has all the right NeoPixels lighting up. And the code walkthrough will just walk through all of the different features in the code. But mainly you hit a note, a light lights up. It stays lit as you hold it down. You release it. It does this nice non-blocking fade out animation. So it's really nice and responsive. Yeah, and that's pretty much the gist of it. But definitely check out the video so you can see some more demos of it in action. As far as the CAD files go, all of the parts are available to download. I also have a special one-off separated CAD model for the snap fit enclosure for the PropMaker Feather. So this is more of like a multi-purpose enclosure designed specifically for the PropMaker Feather. So it houses it. It gives it 2 mounting slots on the side, has the 2 reset buttons on the top there for the boot and the reset button. And then it has these cutouts that allow you to use the screw block terminals. And it has the cutout on the side of the frame. It's a 3-piece snap fit enclosure, so that if folks want to add just the bottom plate, they can add that to their prop. Or if you want it fully like kind of enclosed, you have the frame and then the top that goes on the top of it. No screws needed. Everything just snap fits. And later in the show, I'll show you an SLA 3D printer that I just got back yesterday from JLCPCB. So we'll talk about this. And I think we're going to start stocking this so folks can actually purchase this instead of having to 3D print it, which is nice. I talk a little bit about the diffusers here. If you don't have a way to cut the LED acrylic and you just want to 3D print something, of course you can 3D print it. So I have a model of the diffuser that will slide right into the grid frame. I talk about the build volumes. It is a fairly large print. It's a 16-inch wide display, which is pretty big. So I ended up slicing it in the middle. And from what I learned in my Japanese-inspired lamp, I'm starting to use dovetails more. So I have this dovetail connection that joins the 2 frames together, and also the legs. So it's very modular. You can design custom dovetail connectors for your projects if you want to like join them together without having to use hardware fasteners or glue. So that's one of the design takeaways that I have from this project is using dovetails where it makes sense. So really happy about that. And it makes it clean too. There's no screws visible. It's just kind of nice. So check out the CAD files if you want. Also have a step file of all the models as well if you want to remix the frame or add some different legs or something to the frame. You can do that as well. The next page, it talks about wiring up the NeoPixel Pebble strand. So it's always important to find out what the first NeoPixel is, because it's not always obvious. So this will help you locate that first NeoPixel so you can do data in. I end up changing out the PVC wire for a silicone wire because that's just a really nice, robust, flexible wire connection. And then I did a little bit of annotation here to just to give it a little bit more visual help when you're like soldering this thing up. So it's a fairly large image there, and it lets you know what the 3 data connections are. There is some marking on the PVC clear wire that's on the NeoPixel strand. There's these little white dots. That's actually not ground or data. It is the 5-volt power line. So the silicone ribbon cable here I'm using also has this white kind of marking. So why not keep it consistent? So we got that. Yeah, and it just walks you through, doing the LED count. Why count your LEDs one by one when your code has that boot sequence, right? That will, light up all the NeoPixels. That will give you an idea of where is the 70-second NeoPixel, right? And that don't really need to count. Just use your code. It's built into your code as a way to test if everything works. So that's what I got going on here. And then you cut the wire because they're cuttable. It's really nice. I really like this strand. I'm going to use this. And you end up with like a whole bunch. You get 128 pixels left over that you can use in another project. So that's really nice. Yeah, so for $29.99, you can get 200 LEDs, and you only need 72 in this project. So you have a nice bundle for your next NeoPixel project. So once we got our NeoPixel strip wired up, we're going to build the matrix. So it's pretty straightforward. It's a very symmetrical design. The grid just fits into the frame with those dovetail connectors there, because that keeps it from like flopping, because it is a fairly thin thing. And when you print something thin and it's long, it tends to flex a lot. So what these dovetails do is they keep everything rigid, at least the frame, because that's the thinnest piece of the design. The grid keeps everything nice and sturdy and stable because you have that dovetail connection that keeps the frame from flopping out. So before I had that, I just had it just install straight in, and it just kept sagging because, it's a thin frame. And the reason why you have a frame in a grid is so that you can insert a diffuser. Otherwise, like, how do you put the panel in front of the grid? The other thing I found was like these little kind of pill-shaped cutouts for each of the grid segments. They're just the right size to allow the pebbles, the individual NeoPixel pebbles on the strand, to press fit in and stay pressed in without any glue, which is like, oh man, I wish I had that in like the Epcot Spaceship Earth projects. I had to glue all of those things. So this is a way better assembly because you just pop them in. Take your time, of course, but you pop in those LEDs in there. So we're going to build the frame, install your choice of diffuser material, whether it's the PLA or PETG or the black LED acrylic. It accommodates, the frame accommodates a 3 millimeter thick material. We're going to connect them together with these connector bits. Then we have our full frame assembled, and this is where we start installing our LEDs. So one of the things I found is that you don't actually want to push the LED all the way into the segment. You actually just want to set it right within that first millimeter of material so that it stays in there. So that's why I kind of marked it here like this, where you want it just enough in there so that it's not going to come out easily. You can still pop it out, of course. And the PVC wires here are really flexible and forgiving, and it just has that right friction fit where it's not going to move if you just kind of like move it around a little bit. So that's nice. And you start off with from the bottom right, because we're doing the zigzag arrangement. And then I kind of marked it here in this photo. It goes from the bottom right to the left, because when you rotate it around and you're facing you want it to go from left to right, because that's kind of the way a chromatic scale works anyway on a piano. It goes from a low note to a high note, going from left to right. And then here's what the final grid looks like, going again from the lower right to the left. You go up a row, then go from left to right. And that's why it kind of annotated this, like data in flows this way, goes back up, goes over here, goes back up, and then all the way out to your last pixel there. This is probably the most time-consuming part of the project. So you want to take your time, but once everything's installed, it's pretty much going to stay in place, because the friction fit is just enough to like stay in place there. And then once we got the grid all installed with NeoPixels, we can focus on the two legs. I redesigned the leg, I think halfway through the project, because I had it in like, you get into this mode where you're like, oh, I'm just going to make a piece for the leg, and then I make a piece for the foot. So I had these two pieces, and it's like, why are you doing that? Just combine it into one, and then that way you don't have to print multiple parts to assemble just your leg, right? And then the other thing I did was, with this design, because it's like an L shape, I was able to create a wire channel that allows a really nice, elegant solution for fitting the silicone wire into this channel. And it's like designed perfectly to friction fit the silicone ribbon cable. So that way the wire elegantly comes out of the leg and not just like off to the side. So it's almost hidden in a way. So that's really nice. I like that design feature. I also made sure that the actual clearance from the bottom of the frame can do this. It can go over your keyboard, not just your clicky clacky keyboard, but a piano keyboard as well. So it's like the right height clearance for that. And then of course it's modular, so you could always take this off or add another thing to it if you want to attach it to like your actual MIDI controller, your actual piano. It's modular, so you can swap this out for a custom built mounting bracket. Yeah, so I think that was pretty cool. It was the right choice, at least for what I was doing. And then we're going to install the feather into the bottom snap fit case, put on the frame, and put the top on in the right order. And here you can see how there's a perfect cutout for the screw block terminal for the actual screw part, where the flat screwdriver will like tighten the screw block. And then there's also, it's not photoed here, but you can see on the bottom of it as well. So let me see if I can switch tabs real quick to show you what I'm talking about. So you can look at the bottom of the screw block terminal to find out, oh, that's the 5-volt pin, that's the ground, and that's the NeoPixel data pin. So you don't have to take the feather out. You can just reference the bottom there, put in your cable, and then screw it in place. And you know you're at the right, because Lamar's really good at adding labels to her PCBs. And that's what I got going on here. You can see that. And that allows me to install and take out without having to take the board out of the case. So that's a really nice design feature there. Back over to the Learn Guide. We're almost done. Once you connect that, easy installation, plug it into your computer, set up your favorite DAW, your digital audio workstation, and you can assign any software instrument to the track, and your feather will show up as a USB MIDI device where you can send external MIDI stuff to it and make some fun visual displays when you're jamming out. And this kind of walks you through that. This second page of the usage, the last page of the guide, usage, how I have it arranged. I can't cover every piece of audio software on how to set up and route your MIDI device, but this gives you a little bit of idea of how external MIDI devices are set up on audio software. And it works on all systems. Like MIDI is a pretty robust, well-known protocol. Liz has a Windows machine. She uses MIDI where she was able to just open up MIDI, route the Feather to her Yamaha keyboard here as the MIDI input, and the MIDI output is, of course, the Feather, where that's how she was able to play some Chopin and get some really nice NeoPixels lighting up. And that's the guide in a nutshell. Really fun. Like I said, it was like the first MIDI controller that wasn't an input device, but an output device, which I think is pretty cool. I've done so many MIDI controllers in the past, and this is one of my favorite ones because it's like it accompanies your MIDI controller.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And it's just a nice tutorial too for creating your own custom LED matrix with NeoPixels. So I think that's pretty cool.
I was looking at that way to further expand or modify with that piano teaching thing where it looks like the guitar style where it comes down on each piano key to teach kids how to play piano.
Yeah, I hope this inspires folks to check out CircuitPython for doing that. That would be a really cool project. A little bit involved, but you can definitely do it, especially with something like Claude Code, where you can create your own, maybe even a video game, like inspired by Guitar Hero or band. What was the other Rock Band? I think it was called.
Or even like a video game.
Or you do like a match.
You get a video game like Space Invader, what is it, Break Ball?
Breakout. Yeah, you can do like a breakout game. Yeah. Also, this could make a great Tetris board, right, with an external controller. Or you just go crazy and be like, you have a sensor-based thing because you can connect sensors through the STEMMA QT port to create something where in the Snake game. There's so many fun things you can do with a NeoPixel grid. I'm a big fan of MIDI controllers, so that's why I wanted this to be like, this is going to be my MIDI controller display because I hadn't done that yet, and I wanted to explore it, especially with Claude Code because it's my first time doing it, and it was a really great experience. But yeah, folks can turn this into a game, turn it into a learning device, just get inspired. Get a Feather, try out CircuitPython. It's so cool. Yeah. And if you do want to pick up anything, any of the parts like the NeoPixel Strand or the Feather, you can use our coupon code Sensor Data, and it'll get you 10% off your order. And we appreciate everybody for ordering stuff from the shop. Woo! All right. I keep switching my tab to the wrong tab.
I know I have. The guide keeps going too.
Right. I keep switching to Fusion for some reason. Okay. Over on the Discord, I'm going to check out and see if anyone has any comments or questions about the tutorial.
Everybody's getting ready for the launch.
Everyone's getting ready for the launch. Yes. Okay. How about we switch gears and we take a look at what Pedro's been prototyping this week?
All right. We've got a couple more features in the Star Trek data dispenser, I think is what we landed on. It was an inspiration from that Star Trek Next Generation. It was the first episode of the new series. It was called Far Cry? Not Far Cry. Encounter at Farpoint. I had to watch the episode to sort of understand what was going on. It's a little kooky. I had to write an explanation here in the script. Let me read from it. In the episode, some entity named Q just shows up out of nowhere and is like, puts humanity on trial because they are a dangerous savage child race, which kind of sounds like what's going on in the world right now, huh?
That's funny.
Soldier, he turns himself into a soldier from the Earth's post-atomic horror era wares, and he has this little device that this is inspired from. The device that Q has on it was like a military controller, and what it does was dispense drugs for the army, and that's how they were being kept in check. So nice little inspiration. PT sent this over, and we thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could turn this into an actual useful environmental monitor, since the Feather ESP32S3 with the reverse TFT fits in there. And on the inside, we have our new CO2 sensor. And it also has like the temperature and the humidity. So we thought that would be super cool to be able to monitor that and like take inspiration from the UI that they're using for that. Of course, on the show, it's just a prop. It's like a sticker for the display, so you don't actually see any of the UI elements except for the little monitor here. So we got inspired to expand upon that. One of the things that you have on here, the different modes, is to be able to go through all of the different data. So this is all real data that it's picking up. So we have the humidity, temperature, CO2 levels. And you can kind of see here the highs and the lows that we've been getting throughout the 2-hour window where it's recording everything. And you can see there a huge spike for the CO2 when I had it close up and breathing. And then one of the features that I added was the ability to zoom up on the graph. So when you have like a bunch of data, you can zoom up into, I think it's like the last 15 minutes of the data. I'm gonna go to a different thing here. This is the humidity, and you can like zoom up on that. And all the bars are not variable. They scale to, as more data comes in, it'll like shrink or expand. And then the other thing that I added on here besides the zoom was the ability to, see all the peaks there. We were talking how this would be a cool way to have a badge for your cosplay event.
And let me scan that. Good. Let me see what happens.
You have a QR generator inside of CircuitPython, and I put that in there.
Wow, amazing tech. It goes straight to our Learn guides.
Yeah, that's so awesome. All of our Learn guides. So if you're at a convention and you want to put in your info on there, you can have a QR code, take them automatically there. And beyond that, it shows the status of the driver and then the CO2 board. You can see here that it says OK.
Oh, so back up a bit. So it's more. There we go. Now it's clear.
Actually, do I need to brighten this up? I have dimming on here as well.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Yeah, now it just looks really good now. Cool.
As you can see the sensor statuses of that, and then you can edit all of this. So I have on there just my name, engineering, and then any other.
Yeah, so stylish with all the little LCARS themed Rex and a nice border around the whole display. Very, very nice UI design.
Yeah, this was all Claude. I just told it to be inspired by the LCARS theming inside of Star Trek, and I didn't tell it to do any of this. It did it all on its own. It did like the graphics for everything. So all these little graphic elements, the colors, it shows everything. All I did was feed it like, here's what the LCARS looks like, and it designed it on its own. And if this is all being drawn in CircuitPython, so there's no bitmaps, there's no extra graphic files that you need to put in there. It is all drawing this in real time. Even added for filming. I had to, I didn't want to sit there and have my face cover to look down. So we added a demo mode. So if I jump out of here and go into the main screen, I double click, it'll go in through to all of the different screens that we have. So it has the little animation at the start to make it look like it's like a scanning animation.
Yeah, where it's filling in. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll wait 3 seconds, and then it'll go through each screen, all of the graphs. It'll do the zoomed out version, and it'll zoom in. So I don't have to touch it when it's doing the filming. And then, of course, for, if you're on the con floor, it'll be cool to have that cycling, to have some it animating for you. And ending up on the QR little generated badge thing there. And then you can, I don't know if you can hear it, it has a vibration motor inside there.
I heard it's a little buzz.
Yeah, so it'll alert you when the CO2 levels are above 700, which was super handy while we were driving to Kennedy Space Center. Inside the car, like the default air inside there is like the circulating mode, and it kept buzzing. And I was like, "Oh, what's going on? Is the
battery low?"
Yeah, the battery low, and it's like, nope, your CO2 levels were like above like it was like 1500. Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, this is why I always get sleepy in the car, because we usually have the circulating mode on. So real world useful alert of your CO2 levels being high in the car. So we just opened up the window, turned off circulating mode, and it immediately went down. But it was so crazy to be able to see, grafted out the where it peaked, and it was every time that we went inside the car. Pretty crazy. Anybody wondering if you ever get sleepy in the car, that's what's going on.
It could be, yeah. So you do. Yeah, so you open the windows or you change the recirculating air
Both
thing. Yeah.
Especially when you have a teenager farting in the car.
I
had to quickly pick that up as well.
Yeah.
And then the weathering that PT requested to have on there is what is present in the on the show for the prop. And then this little Easter egg as well, the text, R2D2 3PO.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah.
The other thing that we showed off last week, which I thought was super cool, was the way that we're using the grid with no tops and no bottoms for the section here where the sensor is being read. So if we open up the snap fit front here.
How do you do the weathering? Just real quick, is it paint?
Yeah, it's just acrylic paint. We're using like the dark gray. Oh, man, I cut my nails for the video. So
yeah, you don't want this thing to easily open, especially on a con floor. So a little bit of work is needed to take it out.
Here, the nubs that walk into the snap fit part. The way that pops off like that, you can see everything is mounted.
Yeah,
about 420 milliamp hour battery on here, and then you can see here the way that the stemma boards are mounted, like a little stemma sandwich. So you have the motor board on the bottom,
the DVR
down there. So that was a super cool way to mount this. I don't believe we've ever made a little mount for that.
Nope, it's a new sensor. So
yeah, brand new sensor. So before we were using like the Sauron, it was a CD41.
Yep.
That we used for a previous CO2. Yeah, it's so chunky.
Very chunky.
So I was super happy that we're able to get this way down. Otherwise, it would have been such a huge wearable. We actually did one before where I had it on like as a watch, but it was so huge and like the battery, didn't fit in there. I had to have a USB battery pack, like the wire running down into my pocket. This one, you can see it's super thin. The only thing that makes it thicker is the magnet back pin to attach that to your shirt or whatever costume. Everything's just daisy chained with the stemma cables. PT was a little bummed out that we didn't have the pull cord on here. I did order one to try to see if it would fit, but it is the exact size of this entire case, and then even the thickness of it. So it's like, oh man, I don't want to include that to double the size of this prop. Especially since the stuff we're trying to sell is not a pull cord, but all the electronics in here to make this a pretty useful prop that
it really is. Yeah, a lot of great data. This is using the STCC4 plus the SH241, so it's got CO2, temperature, and humidity. CircuitPython library is out there, so folks can play with it. Demo code has been already merged into the repo, so folks want to get their hands on this code. It's out there already. And it's on, we do have it in stock.
Yeah.
So if I switch over to the webpage.
Yes.
There it is. One of our newest additions to the many temperature sensors. And here's like the most like rudimentary way to like display data, but it's so cool that you're able to just like get all these graphics and log the data as well, and have a demo mode and have a badge mode. It's so cool. You can pack a lot of information into this little display. The display, this is the Feather ESP32S3 with the reverse TFT. We don't have the PCB antenna version out right now. It's out of stock. We're working on making more, but the WFL antenna version is in stock, and that's on sale. Packed with all the features for being a portable little Feather device. Of course, it's running the ESP32S3, and the display is a 1.14 inch IPS TFT with 240 by 135 pixels of resolution, and it even has a battery charging monitor.
Yes, you have a little battery charging indicator on there. When you plug it in, it'll have a little graphic to show you that it's charging. It goes into sleep mode after 5 minutes, so it's a nice way to save the power. And then the dimming mode that we were showing earlier, you can also adjust that for filming.
What else plugs in to the USB.
USB, just to show you the.
There it is.
It does take a little bit for it to show that it's charging.
Yeah, that's how the battery charging circuit works.
You also have a calibration mode for the CO2 sensor, just to make sure that you are calibrated. That's what the UI for that looks like. Just hold down the D0 button.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oop, I clicked it once. It's always hard when you're looking at the display.
Yep. You're looking it through your monitor.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Oops. So it'll kick into gear.
So you can calibrate it that way.
Seeing all this different pages of sensor data, it really reminds me of the Pip-Boy from Fallout. So you can imagine scaling this up onto a bigger TFT, and if you're a cosplayer and you really want to make it a real Pip-Boy with actual sensor data, you could adapt the project into a wearable Pip-Boy or something else, which is pretty cool.
You can see here the little charging. So it's hooked up for charging. You can see here the little lightning bolt shows up, and it displays how the estimated time left for charging with the percentage of the battery. And then for your temperature, since we're always switching between C and Fahrenheit, you can swap over between those two different values. It'll show you here that you're at 27 C for Celsius.
Yeah, how hot is that?
Over. The graphs are all, again, drill in with the, what was it, Vector IO?
Yep, Vector IO. That's lets you draw rects, polygons, circles.
And what's cool too is that you can adjust that too. So the way that Claude broke up this image, or the way that this is drawn, is that it has like a base, the peak, and then this bottom part there. So you can even adjust the pixel accuracy if you want to change the way that is for a different project, for whatever other UI you want to use it for. Here's a calibration. You can see here, I'll tell you what the offset it does for calibrating.
Very cool.
And what else? The badge mode, of course, I thought was super cool, being able to have the QR generated. So all you do is add in the CircuitPython code what link you want it to go to, and it will regenerate the QR code. Again, it's super cool.
Yeah, I just scanned it right now. It worked right away.
What else? I think that's about it. The zooming and QR code, the dimming, and of course all of the inputs. So have this up. Was just merge the code in and working on the video and the guide. This should be good to go for next week.
Sweet. Very, very awesome progress one of our most, I think, like data-driven props to date.
Yeah.
Small package. And
Yeah, we got a couple of new
kudos
sets.
to Carter saying no soldering. It's nice and tidy on the inside. Yeah.
Actually, there is one part where you do need a solder.
Yeah, it's probably the motor, right?
Vibration. Yeah, the vibration motor.
Come with one, but that's because people want to choose their own vibrating motor.
Oh yeah,
but, yeah. Which one did you use? The vibrating motor, just the small disc one.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't know we had others.
Yeah, we have a few. I think, don't we?
Spindle motor.
Maybe we don't. Oh, I'm mistaken. Yeah, we just have this little tiny one that's like a nice size. Does it press fit in, or does it sticker on? How's this?
Yep, it press fits in. There is a sticker on the back they can use if you want to make that permanent. But the top portion there has a little, I think it's like silicone or something to help with like any rattling noise.
Right, yeah. A little bit of a soft pad or something.
Yeah.
Maybe foam. Okay. Yep. Yeah. 10 millimeter diameter, perfect size. The size of a coin cell almost.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. All right. Okay.
That is what we're prototyping. Oh, and then the pin backing. It's just the regular magnetic pin backing.
Right here. There it is. All right. More magnet.
Yeah, just a little attachment that or a holder that screws onto the back, and the part includes the little metal backing with a little adhesive on the back if you want to use that for something else.
Yeah,
we just
stick it to your fridge.
Yeah, we have the magnets just protruding there, so you can have that attach. This is one we've used a bunch for like our little shoulder mounted robots. Very nice way to attach something.
You know, it'd be amazing is if I'm sure you could buy these like MagSafe magnet add-ons. If you could embed a MagSafe magnet, you could like put it on the back of your phone. There you go, like those. Yeah, like a little ring.
It would fit.
Yeah. It would fit, and then you could just stick it to the back of your phone. I don't know why you would want to, but just saying.
You should stock these because it is pretty much
a
size.
MagSafe is one of the best inventions and add-ons to the whole
totally fit.
Eco. Yeah, exactly.
So much smaller.
Interesting. Yeah, man. You don't do it now. I'm just saying, like magnets.
Oh, now I'm like, oh crap!
I'm looking at my camera and I'm like, every tripod I have now has like a MagSafe. Like
that's how this camera is attached right now.
Yeah,
and I have a polarizer on here too, and the polarizer is attached to the MagSafe tripod, so there's two MagSafes on it.
Right. Yeah.
And then I was testing out getting like a bunch of the backings for the
you got your pop thing, I got my pop thing.
Yeah, so I have so many of these that
me too. I got like
the phones that
I got it in my I have mine in my little this thing. Yeah, so I don't know, just an interesting side thought of like, ooh,
no, we should request to have
magnets. It would be cool to start making projects that like work with. It's almost like the tripod.
It is, yeah.
The tripod insert. We're making everything have a tripod screw because then you can mount it to everything. But more and more, I'm starting to see
that is what this is turned into.
Like abilities. That way, it's easy to disconnect because you just pop it off, and it still has that like perfect rigidity to it.
It does feel archaic. It does feel archaic, switching between something that's MagSafe that just pops on to having, but where we used to have the little clamp thing.
Exactly. Yeah. These. Yeah. I've stopped using all of these type of things. These things.
It's I have a drawer full of those now.
Yeah. So yeah. So just thought out loud there. Yeah. Cool.
But for
good
the time being,
ideas. Yep. Good project ideas. Where it makes sense, like maybe it doesn't make sense.
I think it makes sense here for
right. Then you can stand it up on a stand or something.
Yeah.
And there's so many MagSafe, stands, tripod things. So it would look pretty cool on a MagSafe stand.
The chi portion where it's just the chi part. To attach.
Oh,
Or
then
the
you got wireless
receiver.
charging.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
That would be cool. Yeah.
When we were walking through Kennedy Space Center, they have like a bunch of the solar charging benches that have the Qi charger right on the arm.
Great,
rest. So I was like, oh crap, you can charge it right there.
Yeah. Somewhere in my parts, maybe it's over here. Yeah. I speaking of magnets, like I keep forgetting to try to use these things, which are 3-pin magnetic connectors basically. So for like NeoPixel chips, it'd be cool to like just be able to disconnect it like via a magnet. And I've seen other folks in the community use these, and I have yet to use these things, man. They're good ideas, and we sell them. Sorry, where is this one? Yeah, these little sorry, these little things here, just for like different devices. Like I was even thinking, like, what if I made it so that these two grids snapped apart, and this is what I would use to connect them.
Yeah.
You have your three contacts there for data, ground, and power. And yeah, I'll find some use for that. But yeah, magnets, man. Magnets, how do they work? All right. Super fun. I love going into tangents on tangents where we're talking about projects, and it's just so many fun ideas and all sorts of great.
Yeah, so it was a cool different ways to build.
Yep. Okay, real quick, if anyone wants to pick up any of the fun things we've been talking about, sensors, dev boards, magnets, you can use our 10% off code as sensor data to get 10% off your sensors. Very nice. Okay. Well, we got about 8 minutes left of the show. We got a time lapse. Every Tuesday, Pedro finds a free design or paid design from the community, 3D prints it, and we talk about it. So here's the time-lapse video, if folks didn't see it. It's a blend of kind of fun, whimsical, multicolors parts combined with a practical use case. In this case, a potato chip bag clip with this 3D printed spring and these slices of what appear to be a pizza. No, I'm just kidding. It's a watermelon. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like a summer spring theme. For closing up your bags. This is
I have a bunch.
Useful one.
Yeah. Got a nice little spring there.
Now there's supposed to be like a magnet that attaches it to the fridge, but none of the magnets that we have are this size. Unfortunately, it's either too big or too small. I don't know if this is like the standardized magnet size, the diameter that some of the Bamboo Lab prints use, but you can send it the one we had. We have like quite a bit of different sizes.
Yep. So it's been posted up by scTom on makerworld.com as a free model. Here's some nice photos of it in action there. Very nice. I like the idea of a product that has individual pieces but then joined together in a thing. Yeah. And here's some hero shots of it.
Yep, it's a 3-color print. Takes about like an hour and a half, so not too long. The only downside is the actual watermelon pieces do have to be glued onto the clip.
Oh, okay.
That's not the best, but it works.
Right. Let me go to your screen.
Yeah. My bottle of the Star Bond glue, I guess, got old.
Oh, they have a shelf life. They have to be like chilled.
They do.
Yeah, ours is on our refrigerator. And even then, it's going to run out of shelf life.
Yep. So I had to get a new bottle.
Yeah, it's funny. We strive ourselves not to use glue, and every now and then you got to use glue. No dovetail here.
Yep.
That's funny.
I think they could have made it where it like snaps in, but then I guess the thickness of the actual watermelon slice would
get bigger. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
See it on maybe maybe a where it's a trapezoid shape where it does
A
fit
dovetail.
in. Yeah, dovetail. Yeah. So funny. The Bamboo Studio has a built-in dovetail. When you
It
break
does.
it.
That's right.
That's one of the options to add the dovetail on there.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's all dependent on the part orientation and stuff like that. I know I ran into that with my dovetails. Like I had to really think about part orientation and like placement, and I ended up having to do some of those things where you draft the angle because then you don't want to print with supports, and it becomes a little bit of a challenge. And then in the middle of it, you're printing the third iteration, and you're like, why didn't I just use a screw? You know what I mean? It's like, oh man, do I want visible screws or not? Do I want to put you got to find the balance and with any design, and sometimes it works out. Sometimes it's better to put in the work for a dovetail.
And so there's a little teeth on there that grip onto your chip bag, and then there's little grooves on the thing here to attach.
Okay, so just frictions onto it. Okay.
Just attaches like that to build your whole watermelon, and then this is, I guess, where the magnet would have plugged into.
Right. It's like a base station.
Yeah.
For all your delicious bag strips.
Yep.
What's wrong, Harriet? My cat's looking at me in terror. Cool. All right. It is a free model if folks want to print it. The link to the model is in the chats. Let me get that. Pop it in the chat. Watermelon ceiling clip magnetic refrigerator magnet.
Gotta get all the SEO keywords in there.
Yeah. The spring 3D printing a spring kind of tension thing is well known design technique in 3D printing world. So you'll see a lot of those type of spring things. I mean, for a potato chip bag, it works probably pretty good. It's nice and durable enough. Okay. On to the last part of the show, Community Makes. So I don't remember. So shout out to Reddit user Electronic Vapor Fox for posting up their remix of the MIDI keyset controller. They posted up their project. They went super crazy on the remix. They added more keys, more buttons, more keys, faders, more potentiometers. Each fader and potentiometer has its own screen. I believe, that has like the values listed out there.
Wow.
And then they have a different user interface for the piano portion of the controller, where it shows you the octaves, I guess the key, and then I'm not even sure what the stop is, but they went crazy on it, and they're just sharing it here in this Reddit post, and that's really cool.
Amazing.
Wanted to share that. I found it by stumbling on the Reddit, I guess. They didn't send it to me, but I felt like it was good to share because it's a public post on Reddit. So I figured, why not? So I just wanted to give him a shout out. Electro Vapor Fox. Well done. So cool to see the MIDI keyset be remixed into this super featured MIDI controller with all the bells and all the whistles.
So many.
Yeah, it's super cool. Okay, and that is all the community makes this week. And yep, Pedro posted that up. Okay. I'll give folks a couple more moments to post any comments or questions. I think everybody's locked in into their work, into the pranks.
The launch.
A launch that may not launch. Got a comment from Brent saying that looks great. Thank you, Brent. Cool. Very cool. Yanni says very cool. Okay, let's close out the show. We reached the end hour mark. Pedro posted the coupon code. Good for the next 24 hours. Later tonight, if all things goes as planned, we may or may not have a show and tell. So just stay tuned on the Adafruit Discord, and we'll let folks know if we end up doing show and tell or not. That's tonight at 7:30 p.m. Usually that's the show and tell time slot. On Thursdays is JP's workshop, which streams at 4 p.m. Eastern time on Thursdays. And then on Fridays, we normally have Scott do his deep dive on Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific or 5 p.m. Eastern. And then on Mondays, Circuit Python weekly meetings. Those happen on the Adafruit Discord at about 2 p.m. Eastern time. And then they get posted on YouTube and other podcasting services. On Tuesday, we have a deep dive with Tim, Foamy Guy. He does his live stream at 11 a.m. Eastern time. And then on Tuesday at 4 p.m., we have JP's product pick of the week. From the desk of Lady Ada happens on random times. When they happen, they're awesome. Definitely check them out. When they go live, just be subscribed to any of the channels on YouTube, and you'll get notified when Lamar does a stream. The Circuit Python Show podcast is back on this new season, hosted by Paul Cutler. So check it out. I think it gets published on Mondays, I believe. So get subscribed to that on your favorite podcast service, where he's been interviewing a bunch of Circuit Pythonistas.
Nice.
I think those are all the shows for now. All right, folks. Well, if we don't see you on Show and Tell, we'll see you next week. Good luck out there with all the pranks, all the rocket launches that may not launch, all the Apple celebrations. Happy Passover. We'll see y'all next week. But until then, we remember to make a great day. Bye, everybody.